10 flight secrets you'll regret not knowing earlier. Hey there, travelers. Whether you're a frequent flyer or just someone who takes the occasional vacation, let's be honest, flying can be a little overwhelming. From confusing prices and overbooked flights to cramped seats and lost luggage, sometimes it feels like airlines are keeping all the best info to themselves. But here's the good news today. We're pulling back the curtain. In this video, I'm revealing 10 flight secrets you'll seriously regret not knowing earlier. These are the kinds of tips that seasoned travelers swear by, but most people have never even heard of. We're talking about clever ways to save money, insider tricks for better seats, and smart hacks to make your entire flying experience smoother, cheaper, and way less stressful. And no, we're not talking about obvious stuff like bring snacks or arrive early. These are legit, lesser-known strategies that can give you the upper hand the next time you head to the airport. Stick around until number one because it's something even frequent flyers often overlook, and it could totally change the way you travel. So buckle up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into the 10 flight secrets that airlines don't exactly want you to know, but you'll wish you had known way earlier. Let's get started. 10. The best time to book a flight isn't what you think. Okay, let's kick things off with one of the biggest misconceptions in air travel: when to book your flight. For years, people swore by the Tuesday rule, the idea that flights are cheapest if you book on a Tuesday around midnight. But here's the thing, that tip is outdated. Thanks to smarter algorithms and real-time pricing, airlines change their fares constantly. So what actually works now? According to recent travel data, the best time to book domestic flights is typically 1 to 3 months in advance, and for international trips, it's often 2 to 8 months out. But that's not the whole story. Sundays are statistically the best day to book, not because prices magically drop, but because airlines tend to release sales over the weekend. And when it comes to actual travel days, Wednesdays and Saturdays tend to have the cheapest fares. Want to really level up? Use Google Flights or Hopper to track prices. These tools alert you when fares drop, so you're not guessing. And forget about using incognito mode. Airlines don't hike prices based on your cookies. That's a myth. What matters is demand, availability, and timing. Secret takeaway: booking smarter, not just earlier, can save you serious cash and spare you the regret of overpaying for the same seat someone else snagged for half the price. 9. Airline customer service desks aren't always the best option. Imagine this: your flight gets delayed, or worse, canceled. The gate agent announces you need to rebook. Panic sets in, 100 people rush to the customer service desk, and now you're stuck in a line that feels longer than the actual flight. But here's the secret most travelers don't know. You don't have to wait in that line. In fact, you probably shouldn't. While the crowd is glued to the counter, savvy travelers are already rebooking their flights using smarter, faster methods. Calling the airline directly, especially through their international numbers, often gets you quicker service. Even better, use the airline's mobile app or Twitter X support. Airlines now staff full social media teams and in-app customer support agents. Sometimes they'll respond in minutes, while others are still standing in line. Another pro move: use multiple methods at once. Call, text, and tweet while you're in line. Whoever answers first wins. The goal is speed, especially when seats on the next flight are limited. And here's something even sneakier: some major airlines prioritize loyalty program members, even if it's a free membership. Everyone else still stuck at the desk. 8. You can get compensation for flight delays, but you have to ask. This next one is a game changer, especially if you've ever sat in an airport for hours because of a delay, or worse, had your flight canceled altogether. Here's the secret: you might be entitled to compensation, but the airline probably won't tell you unless you ask. In the US, airlines aren't legally required to compensate you for delays due to weather or air traffic, but if the delay is within the airline's control, like a mechanical issue, staffing shortage, or maintenance, you may be eligible for meal vouchers, travel credits, or hotel accommodations. Some airlines will even offer frequent flyer miles as a goodwill gesture. In Europe, the rules are even stricter. Under EU Regulation 261, passengers can claim up to €600 for long delays, cancellations, or denied boarding, depending on the distance and length of delay. And yes, this applies to many flights departing from or landing in the EU, even on non-European airlines. Here's the trick. You must ask. Airlines rarely offer this upfront. You can submit a claim through the airline's website or use services like AirHelp or Claim Compass if you don't want the hassle. Secret takeaway. If your flight's delayed by more than 2 to 3 hours and it wasn't caused by something outside the airline's control, speak up. You could walk away with a free meal, hotel stay, or even a partial refund. 7. There are hidden city ticketing tricks. Airlines don't want you to know. All right, let's talk about a super sneaky and slightly controversial hack called hidden city ticketing. This strategy can save you big money, but it comes with a few warnings. Here's how it works. Sometimes it's actually cheaper to book a flight to a different city with a layover in the place you really want to go. For example, if you want to fly to Chicago, booking a ticket from New York to Denver via Chicago might cost less than booking a direct flight to Chicago. So you book that longer trip, get off at the layover, Chicago, and skip the second leg. Sounds wild, right? It's a loophole in airline pricing algorithms, and it actually works. There's even a site called SkipLagged that specializes in finding these hidden city fares. But here's the catch. Airlines hate this, and they've been known to crack down. If you use this trick too often, especially under a frequent flyer account, you could risk getting flagged or having your miles revoked. Also, never check a bag. It'll go to the final destination, not your secret stop. Secret takeaway. Hidden city ticketing can save you serious cash. It's a gray area. Use it occasionally. Understand the risks. And always fly carry-on only when you do. 6. You can choose better seats without paying extra, if you know how. Let's be honest, no one wants the dreaded middle seat, and yet many travelers think the only way to get a decent spot on the plane is to pay extra. But here's the secret. With a little strategy, you can often score a better seat for free. First, know this. Airlines don't release all seat options right away. As the departure date gets closer, they often unlock premium or preferred seats that weren't available before, especially if they go unsold. So if you didn't get your dream seat when you first booked, check back 24 to 48 hours before departure. You might find an aisle or window open up free of charge. Second, if you're traveling solo, try this trick. Choose an aisle seat in a row where the window seat is already taken, leaving the middle open. Most people will avoid selecting a middle seat unless they have to, so there's a good chance it stays empty and you score extra space. Also, during check-in at the airport, don't be shy. Politely ask the gate agent if there are any better seats available. If it's not a full flight, they're often happy to move you around for free. Secret takeaway, being proactive, flexible, and just a little strategic can seriously upgrade your seat without touching your wallet. 5. Your carry-on might get gate checked for free. Use this to your advantage. If you're like most travelers, you know the struggle of trying to fit everything into your carry-on bag. But here's a little known secret. You might not need to worry about fitting it all into the overhead bin because your carry-on might get gate checked for free. Here's how it works. Sometimes, especially on busy flights or smaller aircraft, yet airlines will voluntarily gate check bags when the overhead bins fill up. And while they usually charge for this on larger planes, it can be completely free on smaller regional flights. So what's the trick? Look for signs of a crowded flight. If the boarding process seems chaotic, if the gate agent is struggling to find enough space, or if the aircraft is a small regional jet, there's a good chance they'll call for gate checking. In fact, when you board early, you may even be able to get your carry-on checked before it's full and avoid paying baggage fees altogether. One bonus, you'll also get your bag faster when you land, since it'll be available for pickup at the jet bridge instead of waiting in baggage claim. Secret takeaway. Take advantage of gate checking if you can. It could save you time, money, and the headache of squeezing your bag into a cramped overhead compartment. 4. You can bring more than you think. It's all about bag strategy. It's a game-changing secret that could totally change how you pack. You can actually bring more than you think. And no, I'm not talking about sneaking extra items in your bag, although that can help too. What we mean is that with a little bag strategy, you can maximize what you bring on board without going over weight limits or paying extra fees. First things first, every airline has its own rules, but generally you're allowed one carry-on and one personal item, like a backpack, purse, or a laptop bag. But here's the trick. Personal items are often not strictly regulated in terms of size, so you could be carrying a much larger bag than you think. Just don't overstuff it to the point it looks like a carry-on. If you're flying on a domestic route, airlines are usually more lenient with personal items. You can fill your personal item to the brim as long as it fits under the seat in front of you. Think about it. You can stuff a bag with snacks, a jacket, even a small pillow, and still have room for your tech gear, documents, or travel essentials. And when it comes to your carry-on, remember, weight matters more than size, as long as your bag is within the size limits. Airlines are often more focused on weight, so make sure your bag is packed smartly and not too heavy. Secret takeaway: don't just think of your personal item as a small purse. It's a way to bring way more than you realize. Think strategically. 3. Airplane mode isn't just about safety. It's also about battery life. You've heard it a million times. Switch your phone to airplane mode before takeoff and landing. But what if I told you it's not just about safety? Sure, it's required by law, but the real secret is that airplane mode can actually improve your flight experience, especially your battery life. Here's the thing: when you leave your phone's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on, your phone is constantly searching for signals. Whether it's trying to connect to a cell tower or searching for a Wi-Fi network, this constant searching uses up way more battery than you think. That's why you might find yourself with a dead phone halfway through your flight, even though you've only been carrying. By switching to airplane mode, you stop that search for networks and let your phone conserve battery. If you want to go the extra mile, you can turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth after enabling airplane mode. This ensures your phone isn't using unnecessary power while you're flying. Pro tip: once in the air, turn on Wi-Fi if the flight offers free or paid service. That way you can still browse the internet or stream content without draining your battery. Secret takeaway: airplane mode is a battery-saving hack that keeps your device charged for longer. And it's one of the easiest ways to make your flight a lot more enjoyable. 2. You can bring more than you think. It's all about bag strategy. Here's a secret that could save you both time and stress. You can bring more than you think with a little bag strategy. Sure, airlines have strict rules about carry-ons and checked baggage, but often you're allowed more flexibility than you realize. Here's how to maximize your baggage allowance without the fear of extra charges. First, let's talk about personal items. Most airlines let you carry one personal item, like a backpack or a laptop bag, that fits under the seat, but the secret is this: personal items aren't usually as strictly regulated as carry-ons, so you can often get away with packing a much larger bag than expected, as long as it fits underneath. Just make sure it doesn't look overly stuffed when you board, and you're good to go. Next, think about how you pack your carry-on. Instead of cramming your bag full of bulky clothes, use compression bags or packing cubes to organize and save space. This way, you can pack more efficiently, making sure your carry-on stays within size limits, but can still hold a lot more than you might think. Check if your airline has weight restrictions for carry-ons, as that's usually the bigger problem. Sometimes it's more about managing weight than size. Use the most of your personal item and get creative with packing to sneak more into your carry-on without hitting weight limits. 1. Flight attendants notice everything, and it can work in your favor. And here it is: the #1 secret you absolutely need to know. Flight attendants notice everything, and that can totally work in your favor. Now, we all know flight attendants are busy, especially during boarding and in-flight service, but what you might not realize is just how much they observe. From how you interact with others to your attitude when you board, flight attendants often hold the power to make your experience a whole lot better. And just as importantly, they can sometimes help you out in small, unexpected ways. Here's the thing: a little kindness goes a long way. If you're polite, patient, and friendly, flight attendants are more likely to go the extra mile for you, whether that means offering you a free drink, giving you an extra snack, or helping you get a better seat. Flight attendants are also often able to provide more comfort during long flights, so don't be afraid to ask, politely, of course. They're the ones who can sometimes help with those small requests, like an extra pillow, or even switch you to an empty row if you're lucky. On the flip side, be cautious with complaining or being rude. They have a lot of control over your in-flight experience, and being respectful can go a long way toward building rapport that benefits you throughout the flight. Treat your flight attendants like allies. Kindness and respect can result in a much smoother, more comfortable journey. There you have it: 10 flight secrets that can totally transform your travel experience. Next time you fly, keep these tips in mind and you'll be a smarter, more savvy traveler. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more travel hacks.